What is going on, my beautiful brothers and sisters, fellow radiators of love? My name is Jamal Pope, aka J Phoenix, and this is going to be your astrology forecast for today, Wednesday, June 7th of 2023. I'm a little late making this. It's like 8:12 in the morning on June 7th. Like I said, I normally make these the morning before, but the night before, but hey, I'm still here, still getting it done. So let's hop right on into it, shall we, beloved? Well, we have all this energy that's still building off of yesterday because we have you see all this red energy, square, 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 cross, cross. That's right, we have a fixed cross that has been building. Well, it happened yesterday too, but it's just been building up. Now, as you can see, we have the moon joining the fray. The moon has shifted into Aquarius, conjuncted Pluto. It's opposing Venus. It's also squaring the nodes and squaring Jupiter, right? This is a gnarly energy. This is an intense energy, right? These are not easy things to deal with, especially if it's fixed, especially the fact that it's fixed signs. If you're a fixed sign right now, if you are a Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, or Aquarius, it's a little bit easier for you to navigate this sort of energy. If you're not, especially if you're like mutable or something like that, this might not be the easiest time for you, right? This might not be the easiest time for you. Of course, we have the personal planets with Venus and Mars in Leo together, right? Now, Venus, it wants to feel the passion. It wants to express that. It really wants to feel the fire. It wants to feel the vigor of life, right? It wants to be courageous. It wants to be brave and move forward, but it is still under a lot of stress, right? You have the semi square to the sun, which has been happening for a while now. We have the squaring of the nodes, which is coming closer. It's going to square over to Jupiter, which will probably be one of the easier squares that it goes through, mind you, but it's still a square nonetheless. It's still challenging nonetheless. Venus is not out of the woods yet. And now that we have the moon joining this energy, it's really going to activate a lot of this, right? Because when it comes to these energies, especially with Pluto, considering that it's such a far out there, deep planet, and it's more of a generational aspect, it's not something that we necessarily are fully aware of on the day to day. But these other personal planets, right? We are more aware of Venus on the day to day, Mars, the sun, the moon. These are energies that we are more consciously I would say more consciously aware of. I would say that these are the energies that people probably act out the most without realizing it if they're not really into astrology. But now that we have the moon in Aquarius, what is that? Well, there's going to be some sort of emotional detachment today. I think with all of the energies that are building, especially on the world stage, when you have Mercury and Taurus at the 23rd degree, you have Uranus and Taurus at 20 degrees as well. When it comes to a lot of this world stage stuff, the moon in Aquarius is going to be you're going to be seeking for some sort of detachment. Probably because things are about to really pop off. We can really feel that there's something percolating under the surface, right? The pot of water is boiling right now, right? It's not, I don't know if it's necessarily boiling, it's like simmering. Like it's at that midpoint between simmering and boiling. It's like right there. It's like on the precipice of boiling. Or I think this in many ways is that it is boiling, but we've just been ignoring it for the longest time. And it's spilling over and it's spilling water onto the stove and it's causing steam and everything like that. So that's in many ways with this moon in Aquarius having already it conjuncts Pluto in the night, leading into the morning, right? Now we wake up to it opposing Venus, right? Venus and Leo, looking for some sort of passion to express, to embrace, looking for some type of creativity to really express, embrace, to really looking for the value in these aspects as well, right? Or relationships, looking for some type of fire in our relationships, looking for some type of passion in our relationships. But then you have Venus in Aquarius, which is definitely going to be very much more so cool and detached. Uranus is dispositing this moon. right? So there will be, at least in the next like couple days, like day and a half or so, there'll be some mutual reception between the moon and Uranus, being that Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius and the moon is the ruler of Taurus, right? So there will be some mutual reception. So there's some of that that's kind of building right now, to where that, with the moon, even though this first part of the moon, in the first part of the moon here, is going to be a very detachment. I'm gonna just say that joining all of these squaring energies, it's going to be a very detachment, because we're being hit with all of these squares and oppositions. And generally, whenever we have something challenging, humans, we tend to look for some sort of comfort. We tend to go in the other direction. This will actually be a good idea over the next 24 hours, really, to choose your level of suck. To be fair, choose your level of suck, because the universe is going to throw challenges at you no matter what. But if you can actually go out and choose your challenges and choose the things that you want to, um, choose your resistance, if you will, that is going to be a very empowering place. It's sort of like I'm getting the image in, like, in the gym, right? Where you get to choose the weight that you use. Or are you going to choose the weight, or are you going to let the universe choose the weight for you? And I think many times the universe will choose this way, even if you are in the process, even if you're used to kind of choosing your suck, choosing your challenges, choosing your resistance. The universe is still going to throw wrenches into the equation. But if we do it ourselves, we have a lot more control over that, and then we have a lot more control of what we attract into our life. This moon in Aquarius too, we got to consider too that it is, starting to wane, right? It's coming off of the full moon energy. So this moon in Aquarius is going to actually represent in many ways some of the waning energies when it comes to some of this Aquarius energy. What is waning in our life? What sort of social situations are kind of waning in our life? It's going to bring light to that aspect. What is kind of dissipating? What's kind of going away, right? Um, as you move this chart forward, we still have, of course, the sun in Gemini. It's been there by itself for 16 days, so we still have a few more days of this energy with it being by itself. You're gonna have the moon, by 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's going to square over to the nodes, right, at 3 degrees. Now, 3 degrees is the number in numerology that represents Jupiter energy. So it's going to, so this is definitely going to be challenging our beliefs when it comes to, do we really believe in our self-worth? Do we believe in our value? Do we believe that we have the capability and that we have the tools? In many ways, Taurus is, it's this physical earth, it's these tools. So do we believe that we have the physical tools to manifest the life that we want? And with that moon in Aquarius, it's going to be asking ourselves, are we really, it's like I said, these are the waning aspects. So when it comes to this Aquarius energy, when it comes to the collective, when it comes to social media, that's another aspect of Aquarius, right? Is social media, right? Are we connected to the right people? Are we getting too caught up even in what other people may say about us or may think about us? That's the other thing about this opposition with all of the Venus energy, with Mars here. Now, Mars, mind you, it's at 10 degrees. It's already squared the nose. It's already squared Jupiter. It's already opposed Pluto. Mars is moving forward. Mars is in that second decan of Leo. Mars is where Jupiter is. So a lot of things are kind of coming back to this Jupiter energy. So even the nodes are at 3 degrees. Like I said, a lot of things are coming back to this Jupiter energy. But Jupiter is at 4 degrees of Taurus. Now, what is four? Four is actually the number of Uranus and Aquarius energy, right? So this is all about belonging. It's all about where we're vibing. If you look at the glyph of Aquarius, it's two sine waves on top of each other and they mimic each other. So in many ways, it's like your vibe attracts your tribe. So today's going to be a day where we really start to ask ourselves, Where am I vibing and what tribe am I attracting? That's really what's happening today. And we have to ask ourselves with Venus and Mars here in Leo, we have to kind of choose, especially, or one that there's going to be this sort of like we're at this crossroads in many ways, right? But as Venus, so what our masculine energy, Mars has already faced this energy, right? We're already in many ways are acting on these things. It can almost be it's a bit of a reactive energy because Venus hasn't caught up to it yet. But really, so long as you are on your path, if you are already embracing this Taurus energy, if you're already embracing this fixed energy and knowing your worth and knowing your value, the actions that you're taking, even though they may seem a little out there right now, even though they may seem, I was even asking myself the other day, I was like, I was leaving the gym. This was yesterday. I was leaving the gym and I'm thinking, like, dude, how am I making it through this energy? I have Pluto on my Saturn. I have Venus now opposing this energy. Like the nodes are squaring my Saturn right now. It's like because I have a decent amount. Well, I have the Saturn fixed energy. I don't really have a lot of Leo. Mars is like on my Chiron right now. And I have a lot of Scorpio energy, but the South Node has already gone over a lot of that. But really, it's my Saturn that is like under like attack right now, or it's under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress. Not to mention Neptune is on my moon. So I'm like, how in the world am I making it through this? And the the answer came through was very clear. I've given myself stuff to do. I've made myself busy going to the gym, starting these videos. If I was just sitting around not doing much, if I was just going to work and coming home and going to work and coming home and not really doing any other extracurriculars that really are in this Taurus energy, building myself up, recognizing my value and expanding upon that, I probably be going crazy right now. So, so that is how you're going to get through this is by giving yourself stuff to do. So Mars is already acting on a lot of these aspects, right? It's already squared this energy. It's already opposed Pluto energy, right? So it is moving forward. It's moving fast, right? Venus is slowing down, right? So even when Venus makes these aspects, it's still going to go backwards. So this is why with the masculine energy, this is a very masculine kind of world right now, moving things forward, right? And we have to really know ourselves too. Because if we know ourselves, then the actions that we take are going to reflect that thing. If we don't know ourselves, the actions that we take are going to reflect that we don't know ourselves. And we can find ourselves in very sticky situations, right? But Venus here, the receptive quality still has to come into this the exact square to the nodes, the exact square to Jupiter. It's already opposed Pluto, which was one of the bigger tests, but now we still have to deal with the squaring energy. We have to deal with those turning energies, those 90-degree angles, those hard cuts, which is why this can feel very daunting for a lot of people right now, especially if you're a mutable sign, because mutable is sort of like this weird sort of it's mutable. It's not always defined, whereas fixed, it is fixed. It knows itself, right? So be also, guys, just be a little easy on yourself right now, right? Be a little easy on yourself. I think giving yourself things to do that really expand upon this space right here is going to be what gets you through this time. Especially because on the world stage, we are starting to see some crazy things pop off, like dams freaking getting blown up and freaking more alien disclosures and stuff. We're seeing a lot of crazy things pop off in the world. And if we're not careful, we can allow what's happening in the world and the greater collective to affect us. That's the moon in Aquarius. We can really allow it to affect us. The way that we're going to get through this time is by focusing on our inner world, focusing on the world that we are wanting to create for ourselves, because that's what's most important. The sun is in Gemini, it's not in Sagittarius, right? So this is about our local, our direct peripheral world. That's what this is all about. So a pretty intense day. Things are still building up. Like I said, like we really are going to want to lean in many ways we're going to want to lean on Jupiter today. The moon in Aquarius, if you are really good at just detaching from things, emotionally, that actually would be, at least for like this first 24 hours, you know, going into tomorrow, we're all going to be kind of in that energy because we may see some weird things in the external world or on social media that may just want to check out for a moment. Now, make sure that whatever you are checking out into is something that is more constructive. Because I think that's the thing. We could easily check out and just drink our problems away or smoke our problems away or have meaningless sex with someone, if you're single, whatever like that. We definitely don't want to. There's definitely an energy here with the moon in Aquarius where we might not necessarily want to face our problems or face our challenges. So I think we're all are coming up to a very important decision, like very important decisions to make. Saturn is moving slow too. You got to think about that. Saturn is about to retrograde. So a lot of energies are slowing down. Some are speeding up, but a lot of energies are slowing down. Venus is slowing down. Pluto's already going backwards, right? So, um, yeah, definitely a pretty intense day as far as all that goes. Um, like I said, this is going to be a day where you really just want to focus on your inner world, focus on what it is that you're creating, what are you building for yourself? Because ultimately, how in the world, you got to ask yourselves, how do we get to Aquarius energy, right? The basic building blocks of a society is me, and then my family, and then from there. And all that comes together and builds a society. But the building blocks all starts with you. So that is the most important thing. So when you focus on you, when you better you, when you are in flow with the universe, right? This Aquarius energy, when you are in flow with the universe, right? Then that's how we create the most change. That's how we create the beauty in our lives. Venus and Leo is definitely looking for the beauty in life. It's wanting to express the beauty that is in our hearts, you know, but it is under some pressure, some stress, because especially like I said, with the squaring energy to the nose, we're in many ways having to choose like what exactly is that we're expressing. The Venus rather be in Taurus right now. It much rather be in Taurus, right? It doesn't want to go to Scorpio. It doesn't want to go to Scorpio. But if we are so caught up on what has happened to us, the past, our wounding in many ways, if we get too caught up on that, then we can go right back to that Scorpio energy, thinking that we're going to find some comfort then in there because it provides a bit of the edge and it provides a bit of the fire because you got to remember that Mars is still, a traditional ruler of Scorpio. So it can provide some of that for us. And we might confuse ourselves in thinking that that's where the passion is. Like I said, I've been saying it for over a week. Bad boy, bad girl energy. You're going to keep going back to that person that you know is crap. You're going to keep going back to that situation that you know is not treating you well. But you keep going back because, maybe there have been some glimmers of hope. There have been some nice dates with that person. There's been some nice days with that situation. You've had some good days at that job. But is it really in line with where you are going in life? Is it really in line with what your spirit, with what your soul knows is best for you and ultimately best for the world? So let's go ahead and get into the cards for the day. Everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. When I got home last night, y'all, I was tired. And I still have another long day ahead of me today. I was tired, and I think that's why I didn't make the video. But everything happens for a reason. I'm sure that if I made this last night, it would have came out differently than it came out this morning. But this is the message that needed to come forward, and that you know we have to embrace and have to accept that sometimes. Sometimes things come out the way that they come out, and we don't need to be too hard on ourselves. I could be hard on myself and be like, oh my god, I should have made a video last night. It's still 8:31 a.m. You know, you guys will see this and stuff, right? So Especially with Saturn and Pisces right now, slowing down. Our timing can definitely be off. All right, y'all. I have the Nine of Wands in reverse. Are you trying to defend something that doesn't need to be defended anymore? Are you trying to defend something that won't even defend you, that won't even recognize your value? I know that's not what this means in my personal life, but are you trying to defend something that's not even defending you? That's not even sticking up for you. Clarity card. Ooh, we got the High Priestess. Ooh, oh man, intuition. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your gut. She is riding on top of an owl there too. Oh, the owl. Totem animal of Sagittarius, by the way, ruled by Jupiter. So everything's coming back to Jupiter, right? And the thing about Jupiter too is that it will expand whatever you give it. So you have to be careful too. You can give it positivity or negativity. Jupiter will continue to expand on that. So ask yourself today, what are you defending? Who are you defending? And is that thing that you're defending, you have to ask yourself, does that thing truly value you? Will it turn on you? You see it all the time that happens right now, right? Within this whole woke culture, right? It's like you can be a part of a group or whatever like that and be accepted and be embraced and be loved and all these different things. But the moment that you deviate outside of that thing, you're shunned, you're put down, you're you're called all these different names. And then you have to ask yourself, did they really actually value me the moment that I somewhat deviated off? The moment that I started thinking for myself just a little bit, the moment that I expressed something that was a little bit unique, then I get shunned. That's the weird thing about Aquarius. It simultaneously represents our uniqueness, but also cult like behavior and just blindly following things. And like it represents both of them at the same time because we want to be accepted by people, right? And it can be as like we can express and be our unique self, but we also can become like a drone in many ways. So that's the thing too. I think a lot of people are waking up, truly waking up, and realizing that they've been a drone their life. And then what are you going to see? You're going to start seeing people coming out of the woodworks, criticizing you, calling you names, trying to bring you down to their level and to their vibration because you are actually doing what they know in their hearts and their spirit and their soul that they should be doing as well. It's questioning the status quo and then questioning that too. The shit goes deep. It's Pluto. It goes deep. It goes much deeper than we realize, right? So that's the thing about this energy. I think a lot of people are defending things, people, institutions because they've done it their whole life. They've done it for such a long time that now it's a habit. Now it's just ingrained in them and it's tough to get out of it. This is fixed energy too. So it's tough to get out of this, right? It's tough to get out of this. Pluto is wanting to transform a lot of this fixed energy, and it's going to do so through the vehicle of Aquarius over the next 20 years. But it's still got to go back into Capricorn. There's still some aspects of that old world that we have to fix before we really get down to the nitty gritty and the roots of this thing. And remember, Taurus is the roots, and Pluto will be squaring this Taurus energy over the next 20 years, opposing Scorpio, which is the last time Pluto was in a fixed sign, right? Opposing or squaring Pluto, squaring Scorpio, opposing Leo, right? So we are being challenged right now. We all are being challenged on those aspects of ourselves that are unchanging. And really asking ourselves, are we defending the right people? Are we defending the right institutions? Are we defending the right groups? And do these things have our best interests at heart? Or the moment that we deviate just a slight bit, will we be cast aside and forgotten? and start to embrace that Five of Pentacles like energy. Some of you guys are trying to join parties that you have no business joining because that party is not for you. All right. The Nine of Wands in reverse simultaneously also represents not giving up and not quitting. I was watching the Leo King yesterday and with Rich Lopp, and they were going over the Ten of Wands for their awakening experience. And the way that they were talking about that card, it was a way that I've never heard it talked about before. Talking about a lot of the hard work, a lot of the hard work that people don't see. This guy carrying these wands, and he's probably dropped them many times on the way to building something, or on the way from actually, doing, or on the way back from doing something. Maybe those wands were involved in like the whole, like the Four of Wands thing, with like the whole wedding and ceremonies thing. Some of you guys are like on the precipice of something amazing right now, and you have to just push through just a little bit. You have to just push through a little bit. But this is why we have to be aware of what is truly worth it, what is truly valuable with the North Node and Taurus, like I said. So, we can keep going, but we have to be wary of A, are we defending the right people, institutions, and stuff like that really, truly value us? And then B, we have to recognize, where can we push a little bit harder? Where can we go a little bit further? Don't give up. This is a don't give up energy. I have the card of fertility. The frequency of fertility invites us to be more open, more courageous, more creative, and more joyful than we were before. This is Venus. This is Venus in Leo squaring the nodes, squaring Jupiter, opposing the moon, and opposing Pluto, right? It activates the potential for something beautiful to grow from our consciousness into a new and grander expression of ourselves. Think of a flower, right? You can crush a flower pretty easily, right? It seems soft, gentle, supple. But at the same time, that same flower can grow in concrete, which is hard, tough, rigid, fixed. Be the flower in the concrete. That's where we all are right now. Some of us, sometimes, we are all dealt different hands in life, right? We're all dealt different hands in life, right? I find that generally the people that we look up to the most aren't necessarily the people, metaphorically, the flowers that were planted in a bed. They're not that. They're the ones that grew up in the concrete. But then they get to such a point where they're so beautiful and so magnanimous that you have no choice but to acknowledge them. But then if you look at their roots and where they come from, it's not the easiest place, right? A lot of the most successful people, a lot of the people that you look up to, grew up in concrete, but they pushed through that adversity anyways, and then they became what they became. A lot of those people didn't necessarily come from like a beautiful flower bed per se, right? This is a time where we have to push through the adversity. We have to push through the suck. And if we give ourselves things to do, like with me, writing more, working out and exercising frequently, making these videos again, engaging in these aspects that really is not only an expression of our soul and our spirit, but gives back to humanity in a positive way, in an uplifting way, in a way that's meant to bring people together and empower people. That's how you're going to get through this time. And this fertility card, like I said, that means that there's so much creative potential here. There's so much creative potential here. Don't let it go to waste, beloved. That is going to be it for your astrology forecast for today. I hope that you all enjoyed it. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. I definitely appreciate that. Make sure to hit the bell so you get all the notifications so you can check out my daily videos and all the other cool stuff that I have coming, like the primordial awe poetry video that I posted and other things that are coming down the pipeline. I'm really, really excited. Really, really excited to share all of that with you. Y'all take care, stay blessed, have a lovely day, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace out.